Well, good evening and welcome to Pretty Petty Politics. I'm here with the beautiful Representative Jolanda Jones. Want to say hey?
Hey, how y'all
Houston.
doing? Pretty petty politics. I like pretty and petty.
You like that?
I like that.
Okay, so when I have guests on my show. I've been doing this since 2018.
Okay.
My students at TSU encouraged me to do this.
Okay.
And they named it.
Okay.
They said you're pretty, but you're petty.
Okay.
And that's
all
what
right.
politics are. So I'm happy to have you here.
Okay.
You're a busy woman.
Yes, ma'am.
So we always start with the same question.
Okay.
Tell us about the first time you voted.
The first time I voted, I was 18, and I voted at this little church that's no longer there because of gentrification in Third Ward on McGowan, across the street from what used to be the YWCA.
Okay.
They call it Blue Triangle now.
Oh.
So
okay.
that's where the church is no longer there. There's some red brick apartments that were there, but that's the first time I voted. That was back then you had to vote where you lived, and that was
your polling place?
That was my polling place.
Okay, all right. So
that was a long time ago.
It's okay, but you voted, and you still
yes,
voted.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I do.
And you heard her 18 young voters, 18 to 35. Do you vote? Get out there and vote. So today is Constitution Day.
Yes, ma'am.
2025 has been a year of constitutional confusion.
No, it's not. It's constitutional disrespect.
Well, let's talk about it.
It's not confusion. They flat out, Trump and his people don't respect the Constitution. They don't respect the First Amendment. They don't respect the Fifth Amendment. They don't respect the 14th Amendment. They don't respect the Fourth Amendment. And they are eviscerating the Constitution. They don't believe in separation of powers. They don't believe in the cores of what this country was founded on. So it's not no confusion. It's some deliberate action to disenfranchise the least of us.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Happy Constitution Day.
Which is why I need to be the congressperson for Congressional District 18, because I know the amendments and I know how to protect them. And I cannot wait to be made to be the president for President Trump. It will be the gift that keeps on giving him hell.
Okay, she can't wait to be president on the Hill. So with this race, so I'm gonna give you a compliment. So in the spring, like probably April, it was after Mayor Turner's funeral or Congressman Turner's funeral. Darrell and I were on here. We just recapped CD 18. Okay. And I was like, Darrell, you know what's gonna change this race? That's gonna really shift things and really make this a race to watch. I said, if Jolanda Jones gets in this race. And I think you got in with June 5th.
I filed June 5th. Yeah. And I can tell you the story behind that as well.
Let's talk about that story, June 5th.
So I want to go back to before
let's go back.
Congressman Turner died.
Yeah, let's talk
when
about
Congresswoman Jackson Lee died, people wanted me to run for Congressional District 18.
Okay.
I won't go into it, but I was talked out of the race, negotiated out of the race with some false promises. But that's fine, because I'm grown and I knew when the promises were being made, they could be lies, and they were. Okay, fine. Fast forward to March 5th.
March 5th.
I believe he died on March 5th. So I literally get a call 20 minutes after the news that the Congressman Turner has died, and I'm asked to get into the race. I was in Austin because the legislative session was going on. And so one of my dear friends, Daryl Carter, who loved me, we went to law school together, we went to college together, he called me on Wednesday. He was like, hey, you busy tomorrow? I said, I'm in the legislature. He said, I need to see you. I was like, about what? As if I didn't know. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we went and we met at this. So he came to Austin. Okay. And we went and we ate at this nasty farm to table restaurant. I had never been to a farm to table restaurant.
Nasty.
It was nasty.
It's supposed to be good farm to table because it's supposed to be fresh.
Okay, but it wasn't. It was nasty. And they had all these courses and it was expensive. And he was like, you got to run. I'm behind you. I'm going to raise you all the money you need, blah, blah, blah. And Daryl and I went back to college and law school. In fact, we ran against each other for BALSA president, Black Law Students Association president at the University of Houston. I won that race, by the way.
Okay.
So I was a president of BALSA.
Oh, you're BALSA president?
Yeah, my third year of law school.
Okay.
But that's another story for another day. So, and of course, Daryl was trying to take credit for me being elected. The only reason I got elected is because of him. Okay, Daryl. Anyway, we talked about it, and I told him, Daryl, I can't quit being the state rep who was elected.
Mm-hmm.
There have been a lot of really terrible bills that are anti everything that what we believe in, and my constituents elected me to fight. And he was like, what other people getting in and this and that and the other. And I said, I can't worry about what other people do. Mm-hmm. I was raised a certain way. You don't quit what you start. It was that simple. But I told him that I promise you I'll think about it and I'll let you know after the session ends. And he said, that's too long. That's too long. You can't do that. And I was like, yes, I can.
Because y'all were just not even halfway through.
No, we were not halfway through.
Yeah.
And I hadn't passed any bills yet.
Yeah.
Because I ultimately ended up, I'm sorry, did you?
Yeah,
did you see what
she said.
I said, I hadn't passed any bills yet. And so, and bills hadn't even had hearings yet because it was that early in the process. Yeah. So let's jump to the end of the story. The end of the story is I did pass bills in a Republican-controlled governmental body, right? But fast forward, so we had a talk, and I told him I'd think about it, and he wanted to like do everything for my campaign, like lead it, give me advice whether I wanted it or not, because that was just sterile. Unfortunately, he died about
the day of the funeral.
The day of the funeral. He died the day of the funeral, and I knew that was a loss if I decided to run. Because trust me, Daryl knew everybody, okay, everybody. But I just couldn't stop fighting. What I didn't want to do was neglect the people that actually elected me to be the rep for 147, right, to chase people that I wanted or that wanted me to be their congressperson. And there were really bad things. And I have a certain skill set. I'm a 30-year trial lawyer. I win cases that other people don't, that people don't believe I can, but with not enough resources, because my clients, for the most part, are all very poor and they don't have money. And the only people that know them are the family members that love them. That's it. So I don't generally have high profile cases, but I knew I needed to stay. And that's what I did. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, my political team is saying, Joe, you're going to do it. You got to do it. It's late. These people they raising money, they campaigning, they winning all the endorsements. And I said, I can't worry about that. I mean, certainly it would have been politically expedient for me to quit my state rep job like some people quit their elected jobs. But I just wasn't raised to do that. And I figured that people, if I just reminded people what I've done, then that gave me, I could potentially overcome the 3-month deficit. So the session ended June 2nd. I moved back to Houston June 4th. I filed June 5th. I had to speak to my son first, and so we decided, and then the race was on. So then I was frantically trying to raise money, and I couldn't raise money until June 12th. I filed on the 5th, but you got to file paperwork before you can receive money. So I literally, before the end of the session, before the end of that finance report, I had from like June 12th to June 12th to June 30th. So I was able to raise a little over $100,000, which was incredible.
Which is incredible because some folks can't do that in a month.
But considering that big dogs were supposedly in the race, and they had come to find out raised almost $1 million, and so they sucked up most of the money in Houston, right? So people were like, "Why you get in late? You should have, got in. Other people quit their job, blah blah blah." And I'm like, again, I can't do what other people do.
That's your principle. You have to stand.
That's my principles, right? And so then there was talk before the session ended that there might be redistricting. Now, the really weird thing was, I was on the redistricting committee, and when we got our committee assignments in January, I was like, I'm on the redistricting committee. This is not a redistricting. This is mid-decade. So I talked to the speaker, I talked to the chair of the committee and say, what's going on? We're about to redistrict. They're like, no, it's just a standing committee. But what I should have known was they were scheming and they planned to do it in the first place. But I'm on the redistricting committee. And then in the spring, during the session that's going on, during the spring, we started hearing like redistricting chatter, and people were going to DC and they were talking about secret meetings the Republicans were having about redistricting. And I knew Right. Anyway, but the governor didn't call a special session, at least not initially. So I had those however many days from the 5th to I couldn't raise money until the 12th, from the 12th until the 30th to beg for money. So I still wasn't out traditionally campaigning.
Right.
I was literally begging for money. Then come July, because June 30th gets me, and then July 1st happens. And I think the governor was like, oh, we're going to have the first special session on whatever day. And he didn't put redistricting on the call.
No.
And I'm like, okay, but I think that there was too much. I mean, the legislature is like a bad soap opera. It's like if everybody talking about stuff in Pine Valley, or if you watching soap operas now, Beyond the Gates, if everybody talking about
Beyond the Gates,
something's going on, right? Something going on. And so I started preparing. So I really couldn't campaign even then, because I was going back to Austin, getting up to speed on what redistricting is, what the rules are, what the law is, because I wasn't around for the redistricting in 2021. Right. I had not been elected.
You hadn't been elected. Yet.
But anyone who knows me knows I want to be the most prepared of everybody. I'm just wired like that. And so, and that has to do with my mother and her Texas Southern University education, but I digress. So anyway, I'm not campaigning. The next thing you know, the governor calls a special session, eventually puts on redistricting. I then frantically order maps, have an emergency redistricting town hall at Boynton Chapel, which is in Third Ward, which is where I'm from, across Scott Street from where I grew up. And it was well attended. And it was in my district. A number of people heard about it. A bunch of Northside people came, which is not in my district.
Not in your district.
And so after I did the one in Third Ward, the people on the North Side was like, we want you to do one. And the constituents of Texas 18 are not shy.
No.
Right?
No, not at all.
They're not shy.
No.
And they let you know what they want.
Let you know how long they've been in the 18, that they was born and raised in the 18.
And neck action going. And they said, you need to hold one of these on the North Side. Because it was very helpful information. And I'm the only state rep who held pre-redistricting hearings, town halls on redistricting, what it is, what the law is, what the maps look like, what the current maps look like, blah, blah, blah. And I say, I can't do that. That's not my district, because you don't step on the toes of your colleagues. It's just a thing. So they was like, I said, I can't do it because it's not my district. I don't want to be disrespectful. So you see, I pay attention to protocol. I pay attention to not stepping on people's toes. And they was like, you want asking us to vote for you for Texas 18? You better try to do on the north side of Texas 18 what you did in the south part. So then I'm like, but that's not my district. So I got with Jackie Mayhorn, who's over a bunch of super neighborhood councils. We talked. I called State Representative Sempronia Thompson, because part of it was in her district. I called State Representative Harold Dutton, because his district over there. I called those two because they had way more seniority than me. And I had to go kiss their ring. True story. I kissed their ring. And both of them said, just make sure you put me on a flyer. So I did. And if we come, we can talk. I was like, done deal. And so Representative Dutton, I think he was out of town. He wasn't able to come, but he authorized it. And Representative Thompson actually zoomed in. Okay. She actually thanked me for hosting it. It was important information. And that was it. So the one thing I know about Texas 18 constituents is they expect certain stuff and you better do it. So anyway, so then I'm behind. And so we have this special session. I'm there in Austin for the first 2 weeks of it. And it is obvious that it is a scam. It is a rigged game by the Republicans. And at some point we make a decision, the Democrats make a decision to jet to cornbread. That's Sunday.
Yeah.
Right. And so the way that worked was they were taking, I guess, a poll of whether we were prepared to cornbread. And so I said, if we do it, I'm down. And they were like, well, if we get the number, which I'll explain to your listeners, here's what it is. There are 150 state reps. In order for us to conduct business, 100 of us have to be present. There are 88 Republicans. There are 62 Democrats. And so the Republicans actually need 12 Democrats to come to conduct business. Well, since the Republicans, anti-Black, anti-woman, all kind of stuff. And they vote against our interests all day, every day at the legislature. The only power we as Democrats have is to stop them from conducting business by denying them a quorum. So in order for there to be a successful quorum, of the 62 of us, 51 of us had to get ghosts, right? So they like, and if we get the quorum, we need for y'all to be wherever we tell y'all to be within 24 hours. But we ain't telling you nothing because it's on a need-to-know basis. Right. So I feel like I was in like an episode of Mission Impossible where they got to call a superhero.
I don't know. It sounds like Olivia Pope was involved.
You know what? You show right. You show right. And so when they let us know, and my mother, I help care for my mother. She's living in my house. She lives with us. And so between myself, my sister, and my son, right? Because caregiving is very difficult, which is why I think there needs to be federal money for caregivers because it's just very difficult. Anyway, my mother was with me. I didn't even tell my mom I was leaving. She just thought I was going to Austin like I always went. And then I didn't tell my family because I didn't want for there to be any leaks. And once I left and got on a plane and landed, that's when I called them and say, oh, by the way,
I'm out.
Mom at the house. Y'all need to go get her because we running from, the legislature.
Sacrifice.
In any case, for sure. And oh, by the way, my son, you got to run the law practice while I'm gone. So he was like, right. And so it was really interesting. So again, I'm not campaigning. Right
now, you back with your legislative hat on,
right? And I'm
legislative
and trying not to get arrested by the police.
Yes.
I mean, the FBI, they sick to us, right?
Everybody.
Texas Rangers, and then we were concerned about flights. I had a trip to go somewhere to campaign for the congressional race, but they called the special session, and then I didn't go on a trip to campaign congressionally. Because I was afraid the FBI would know the flight manifest of the plane. I was going to a Republican state, and the last thing I wanted was to be caught by them overseers and them slave catchers and drag me back to the Texas legislation that is a plantation, right? And so 51 of us left. They couldn't conduct business, and I thought we were balling, shot calling. We were gangster. We made sure your 88 didn't mean nothing, and I thought we were winning. I did not want to come back when they decided to come back. I did not come back. So I did not participate in those sham hearings where we lost everything. I did not have to sign no permission slips because I was never going back to the plantation. Had I been alive during the slavery days, I wouldn't have been a field Negro. I wouldn't have been a house Negro. I'd have been a free Negro or a dead Negro. True story. Those were the options, right? So, and I also understand why Herod had to kill some folks.
But I was thinking that she about to say Harry.
That's another conversation for another day. But in any case, so I was behind, and I literally just started campaigning 3 weeks ago, which brings me to the poll. So let me tell you about the poll.
Come on, let's talk about polls. Hold on, let me dress this up. So when we have these races, polls come out. So the first poll had U of H poll had you where? Had you in the top.
Yeah, I was in the top in all the polls. Yeah, but that's not the
No. That's not the poll she's talking about. Then Amanda Edwards had a poll.
She did.
And then
let me tell you, I was always in the top.
You always,
but I wasn't campaigning like at all.
At all. And we recapped the U of H poll. Like we did a whole show on it. So you're consistently ranked.
But let me be clear.
Her poll, the poll that came out that you posted last week. I gotta hear about this. I gotta tell you.
Well, let me be clear. The U of H poll and what's the man's name? Who does the polls? No, he's at Rice.
Okay.
Every time there's a poll, they always say I'm gonna lose. True story. They said I was gonna lose House District 147. And who's the state rep?
Yeah.
So
twice elected now, right? Well, 3 times.
Yeah.
The special election.
A bunch of times. It don't matter. Okay. I haven't lost. But anyway, so we don't have to count. In fact, I've actually won 11 elections in Texas 18. My opponents combined have won a whopping 3. I'm gonna say that one more again. I've actually won 11 elections.
You taking my 18. Cards.
And
I don't have no cards, but you're taking my target.
And I'm literally the only person in this race who's ever completed more than one elected term.
More than
one completed one leg turn. I'm also, of the elected people in this race, I'm the only one who didn't quit my job at one point or other to run for something else. I'm just going to put it out there because the truth shall set you free, right? It is what it is because I finished what I started because that's how I was raised. So you can thank my mother and my grandmother. That's just how I was raised. Even if it's easier to quit, I'm just not a quitter. But I digress. So then,
the poll.
Hold on. So what had happened was, then Amanda comes out with a poll that says she has 18 points, and I think myself and the Republican were in second and third. I don't remember the order, and then they had Menifee at 11%. This is Amanda's poll. She released it, and so and when you have a poll and you're ahead, you release it because it's like a validator.
Yeah, absolutely.
But except for Amanda's poll was within the margin of error. Okay. So because you can be off, which is why it's hard to tell what's really going on unless numbers are outside of the margin of error. So it could have been a statistical tie. Okay. Right. So she released her poll. Then, so this is during so hers was before the quorum break. Then I heard about a poll again, because it's like Pine Valley, which is all my children. I heard that, then I heard about a national poll that had me at the top, but didn't have my own poll. It had me at the top. But again, people also, now if you grew up like me, Black, and in third ward, then you play spades and dominoes. And sometimes you might not have one spade, but you bluff. Yeah. So people say stuff, and people have poker faces. With that little diamond, and that you cover that right because you let right. So you or you let them get rid of their spades, and then maybe your 4 of clubs might ride, or your 2 of hearts might ride. Well, unless you're playing with the big jokers, and then you ain't gonna handle 2 of hearts. But that's another story for another day. You want to play spades, you about to get whooped. But anyway, I digress. And so we heard about that poll. Then we heard about another poll. We heard that Christian had a poll in these streets, right? And so again, we hadn't done a poll because I just got back, and I hadn't had a chance to really campaign. And we heard, I was told one of the candidates who's no longer in the race wanted to meet with me. This is during the quorum break. Okay. I'm like, why? And they're like, the person is considering getting out of the race and they want to talk with you. Maybe you can convince the person to endorse you. So I said, well, when I get back, whenever the FBI stop looking for me, because I ain't getting arrested, I'll speak with that person. So then that person had always, whenever I spoke to that person prior to jetting to New York, because I went and spoke and I want to talk about that viral moment too, because there's a funny story behind that.
I have something to tell you about that viral moment.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So that person, when I spoke with that person, for the most part, said that Amanda and I were ahead. When previously that person had said that myself, Amanda, and other people were always at the top. So I remember thinking that person must have done a poll. But I was trying to pull it out of that person. That person wasn't telling me nothing.
It just gave you a little crumb.
It just gave me a crumb. And I said, okay. And then I heard that Menifee had a poll. This is in August, the early part of August 20 something. They were like, Menifee got a poll in these streets, so we gonna see what his poll says. Mm-hmm. And so, but he didn't release it, right? He didn't release it, so we knew he had it, and then we heard that he was upset about the results and he wasn't gonna release it because the quorum break had turned the tide for me. Okay. Right, so he didn't release it, so I was like, well, if he didn't release it, then it can't show what he wants. This is just politics 101. Yeah. Right? And you understand that.
Yeah, I understand.
Most people don't know what people are doing in their campaigns. And you definitely don't tell people about polls unless the poll shows that you want for it to show.
Unless they're favorable.
Unless it's favorable. Yeah. So finally, we shooting blind. We don't know what's going on. We need to know, are you, oh, no, let me tell you what made me pull the trigger on doing the poll. I'd heard that only one Democrat is going to be in the runoff with a Republican because the Republicans were congealing around one candidate. Republican. Mm-hmm.
I met with her last night.
She definitely is Republican. I'm gonna just put it like that. And so then I wanted to know, because I'm a competitor. I've won 4 United States championships in heptathlon. I know how to win. I know how to train, right? And so I said, well, I want to know who that Democrat is who's going to be in this runoff with this Republican, is what I want to know. So I pulled the trigger on the poll. My poll was out last week. In fact, my poll wasn't completed. My poll didn't come out till Thursday. What's today? Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
I heard about it on Friday.
So my poll was in these streets last Tuesday. Just know. My poll had 400 and I think we had 454 people. It's hard to get people to respond to polls.
I don't ever get asked. I wonder why.
Christian's polled like 400 people. So I've actually polled more people, right? Okay. And so my team told me the poll gonna come out either Wednesday or Thursday. So Wednesday morning I get up like a kid, like, because I just want to know the answer. Like, who is the Democrat who's gonna be in the runoff with the Republican? If based on what this national pollster had said, that was this national pollster's biggest concern, was that it's going to be a Democrat and a Republican. So Wednesday, they was like, no, it ain't back yet. I was like, right? So then I get up Thursday morning, they say, yeah. I look at the top line numbers. The top line numbers have me at 25.3%. They have the Republican at 18.9%. They then drop down to Menifee at 13.9%, and then it drops to Edwards at 9.7%. So this is the only poll where we're outside of the margin of error. Let me be clear. You can explain it and why that's important, but hold up. So then it totally coincided with what I was hearing, right? So of course I was happy. Like when I won my first election, like when I won all them United States championships, like when I broke the Texas record in the high jump in high school, like when I was the first person to win the state team championship as an individual in Texas 5A, the largest A, when I broke the record in the high jump. I won the 800 meters, I won the 400 meters, I got second in the long jump, but I jumped a personal record. That kind of happy. Yes. I was happy, right? Next thing you know, the next day, Menifee releases his poll. But what he don't tell people is that poll was in the streets with August. It was 3 weeks old, right? So you're trying to confuse people is what I thought. So what had happened was, back when I wasn't campaigning, I was always in the top just because of the work that I do, and people know I fight, but I hadn't like broken away or anything like that. And they literally had been campaigning for 5 months longer than me, right? So it's easy to be in first place when the competition ain't there. That's like betting on the Kentucky Derby without some horse. Tell me a famous horse.
Secretariat.
Without Secretariat being in the race, taking your bets before Secretariat. In any case, so the next day he releases that poll that he did back there. But what I believe happened is I was like sort of just my reputation for fighting for people just sort of kept me in the mix. The quorum break was going on, started at the beginning of August.
Yeah.
And so it was reminding people who I am. And by August 20th through 25th, which is when his poll was in these streets, I pulled into a lead with him, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if I were him, I wouldn't have released that. Because why are you going to release something when you've been actually campaigning and getting all the money and the other person hasn't been? So I understand that. So then he releases that poll. 3 weeks later, I've taken the lead. So he releases that poll, trying to act like it's the latest poll. It wasn't the latest poll. My poll was the latest poll. And let me be clear, I believe myself, Menifee, Edwards, and other people who did polls. We all have good pollsters, right? It's important to have accurate information so you can know your strengths and your weaknesses, and how to fix them or just how to fix them. And so a bunch of people were confused. No, I'm ahead. I have a legitimate polling company. The polling company is ranked in the top 20, and you literally.
Yeah, I verified it.
I verified so don't play.
I verified it. It's a very legit, high-ranked polling organization.
Yes, it is.
I checked it out.
I mean, they've worked on very high-profile campaigns, even presidential elections. Let me be clear. Yeah. So they ain't no Rudy Poots, as my mother calls people who ain't really qualified to do what they do. And so, but if I were him, I'd have done the same thing. I'd have tried to do confusion, but I suspect he didn't want people to know I was running neck and neck with him 3 weeks before. But now I pulled ahead because I've actually been back for 3 weeks and I'm in these streets. I was at a forum that you moderated. I was at the AKA forum where everybody told me I did really well. I'm just saying what they said. And I'm going to get better because I'm a trained athlete. I'm a world-class athlete, which, by the way, I'm having a fundraiser. I got a bunch of athletes coming, Carl Lewis, Calvin Murphy, a bunch of people, Andre Ware. I'm gonna tell you about that so you can make sure you tell them. You too can be with stars. Zena Garrison. I can't even remember everybody who's doing. Jason Phillips, he led the nation.
When is your fundraiser?
It's on September 30th.
That's 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah, it's September 30th.
Yesterday. Yeah.
So you should come because it's gonna be some very important athletes in the house. Like I say, I'm an alumni of USA Track and Field because I've competed in the Pan American Games and the World University Games and the United States Championships. I've won United States Championships.
What's your reality show? What was that?
Oh, I was talking about that. I was on Survivor. I was on Sisters-in-Law, but we talked about 6 Black women lawyers in Houston doing their thing. And on that show, because I'm a trial lawyer, I got a woman off on a murder case. Did I need to say that again?
Say it again.
I got a woman off on a murder case.
Yeah.
And she was a poor woman, and I did that. And that's a skill set that is going to be valuable in Congress because you have to be quick in trial.
I like that you talk about your athleticism now.
I normally mostly don't, but
it's important. And the point I want to make is I want people to hear this, and this is not being disrespectful. Running for public office, any type of office, heck, in the sorority, it requires endurance and it requires good health. Stress will kill you.
You want me to drop and give you some push-ups?
No,
I can do that.
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Because I like this suit.
Okay, because I was going to look to see if there was some pull-up bars. Because I've been doing some pull-ups as well.
But, so having that type of endurance and that type of training, I think that is really important. And you expressing that. And that's something you maintain. You did not let that go. That's what I did in college.
Hold on for a second.
She about to show us these.
Hold on for a second. But, however, let me see if I can undo this.
She about to show us something.
I will also tell you this. Let me just tell you a little bit about the heptathlon.
Okay.
Heptathlon is 7 events. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the heptathlon is a hurdles, high jump, shot put, 200 the first day, long jump, javelin, 800 the second day. And the hurdles was not a good event for me. So I would start off the hep in the hurdles and I would pray, please, Lord, let me
do decent.
This. Right. And I would never be in first place after the hurdles. But then the high jump was a very good event for me. I used to be the Texas record holder in the high jump. I jumped 6'1.5". So then after the high jump, yes, ma'am. After the high jump, if I didn't pull into first place, I would pull somewhere close. And let me just, can y'all see them muscles?
We see them.
Yes.
Okay, stop bragging.
Okay, well, I'm not bragging.
Because some of us don't have them.
Well, let me be clear. Some people saying I'm old. So I just want people to see.
But you take care of yourself.
First of all, I'm in better shape than I think anybody in this race. Let's be clear.
Better shape,
right? Because strong bodies make strong minds. That's another reason why I believe in fighting for affordable healthcare and access to quality healthcare, because a lot of people in my family died from eating bad, not exercising illnesses. That happens a lot in the Black community.
Yeah.
So I learned very early on, I did not want to have diabetes like my grandmother and heart disease. And my grandmother ended up dying.
High blood pressure.
My grandmother died and her leg had to be amputated, right? Because she didn't have circulation. And I remember saying to the doctor when my grandmother was in the hospital, I don't want to die like this. Like literally my grandmother wanted to die the last 2 years of her life because she couldn't eat what she wanted to eat because of her issues. And I didn't want to do that. So I made sure that I'm fit because I did not want a bad quality of life. And so that's why that's important. Also, healthcare is important for me because this is personal to me. I was with my father when he committed suicide. I was in the room with him. So I had to have a bunch of therapy.
Yeah,
right? Like I'd never sleep soundly ever. Before therapy, I always had nightmares. I tossed and turned, and I had this recurring dream that people were chasing my father and I, they'd always kill him. And then I would wake up gasping for air right before they were going to kill me.
Oh, wow.
And that's just because I was with him when he killed himself. And I've actually written a book, and I talk about that in one of the chapters. And so if I did not have a good psychologist, a Black woman, I made sure I went and found a Black psychologist to help me figure out these issues, then I could maybe have been successful in killing myself, because I attempted suicide when your father kills himself, and kids are cruel. So they would be like, Jolanda's daddy's head is under the bed because he shot himself in the head, or go be with your daddy, or you crazy like your daddy.
How old were you?
I was 1 year and 3 months, but I literally used to be daddy go bang. So I used to say that.
Wow.
Because when my dad killed himself, my mom ran to go get my grandmother, and she left me in the room with him. It was just bad. And anyway, so trauma, but I've been able to, I don't think you ever overcome it, but I do believe you can learn how to live successfully with it. And, during his birthday, I'm sad. During holidays, I'm sad. Memorial Day, I'm sad. Veterans Day, I'm sad because my father was a veteran. He went he was in the Marines during Vietnam, and he didn't come back the same. It was so adequately funding the Veterans Administration is important to me, because they didn't take care of my father. And the truth is, my dad blew his brains out. My Uncle Rocky blew his brains out. That was my dad's brother. He was in Vietnam as well. And my Uncle Ricky blew his brains out. So my grandparents literally lost
their 3 sons.
3 sons to suicide. And so it's very pervasive in my family. But I know that whatever problems you have, if you can just live till the next day, stuff can be okay. But you got to ask for help, and Black people don't do that a lot.
I almost want to let this breathe, but I appreciate you for that pour and for that sharing, because someone listen. This is National Suicide Awareness Month.
I know.
So someone could hear this story right now and what you just said,
and be okay.
Be okay. Keep going and be okay.
And use it. It's funny because with that,
I'm a toucher. I've reached out to a lot. Lord.
I mean, we all have our stuff that we have to deal with. Yeah. But here's what's funny. That was kryptonite for me. It debilitated me for so long, just trying to leave this earth because life was hard. Life is not fair. Whatever. If my dad really loved me, he would never have abandoned me. Just stuff, right? I'm not innately worthy because I wasn't enough to make my dad not blow his brains out. Yeah. But at some point it switched from kryptonite to my superpower.
Your superpower.
Right?
That's a good question.
And so
that's a question. What's your superpower?
And so, because here's my deal. If I can get through that, baby, I can get through anything. So being behind in an election when I'm actually not campaigning, I can get through this. When I went back to the heptathlon, you're not great in every event. So you go up and you go down, but you got to be able to see when you start off not in first place and almost probably in last place because you suck in the hurdles, but you can high jump better than other people. You can long jump better than people. You strong. Back then I benched 235 pounds, so I was cock deep.
Shane ain't my
right
yet.
Right. And then you're a strong 800 meter runner.
800 runner.
I won state 3 times in the 800 meters in 5A, which was the largest state.
Yes.
And I got second my freshman year. So I got second in 9th grade, and I won 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. So I knew that I had some more to give and some training to do, and that's what I did. Very, very similar to this race, right?
Let's talk about it.
So yeah. So anyway, and then let me just tell you about the viral moment for a second.
So before you do this,
what you about
to
tell
the
me?
viral moment, one of my girlfriends, she recorded it and she saw it come across, I think, TikTok, and she was like, wait, that's my TV stand. Erica, Black Girls Who Brunch.
Okay.
So shout out to Erica because she put that out there, and I think she sent it. Maybe did she send it to the campaign or did she put it out there?
Well, Keith Boykin.
Okay.
Okay. He the one that
but there's one that went viral of you, but it's her like living room.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you got to get it to me.
Okay.
I need to meet her.
Absolutely. You'll love Erica. But that viral moment, you resonate. My sister, I told you this. My sister lives in Virginia. She was like, who is this? And I'm like, that's Sarah, like she one of us. But just to see you up there and your voice, I want to give you your flowers.
Thank you.
Just to watch you and the way you commanded that moment. You did not waste that moment. It wasn't fluff. It was serious. You educated the people, and people could see who you were. They could see your heart. So tell us about your experience.
So that moment wasn't supposed to happen.
Okay.
I'm not going to go into the background, but the bottom line is this: I was not supposed to speak.
Oh, wow.
I was not a designated person to speak. 3 people were supposed to speak. We found that out right before the press conference. The governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, the Speaker of the Assembly, which is the equivalent of our legislature,
okay,
and our delegation chair, okay, our delegation leader for the New York trip, where we were trying to get New York to cut the Republicans out like they're doing in Texas with Democrats.
Right.
And we were instructed that they would speak, and then the media would ask them questions. I'm a lawyer, which I said on there. So everybody say, you say that. The reason that's important is because I know the law. So the talking points were not right legally. The talking points that were given was to say that it was a power grab. Abbott was bending the knee to Trump. So in my hood, we ain't never heard of no bend the knee. That's some King Lear, what is it called? That Thrones, Game of Thrones type stuff. Now we might say bend over or whatever, but we don't say bend the knee, right? And that Trump wanted 5 Republican seats, blah, blah, blah. It is lawful for Trump to make Abbott bend the knee or bend over. It is lawful under Trump's courts to politically gerrymander, to take 5 seats. It is lawful to do that. It is unlawful and unconstitutional under the Voting Rights Act, right, to target people based on race. So as I listened to everybody talk, the people were supposed to talk, and the media asked them questions and they were answering them. And to me, I didn't hear the right answer.
The truth what happened.
The right answer is this shit was racist, right? And so I just spoke truth to power. And I was like, wait, hold up. So if you look at the whole press conference, you will see they was looking like, what's she talking for? The media was trying to move on. I was like, no, they have literally 4 of the seats are black. They pit Jasmine Crockett against Mark Beasley, 2 black people. They pit Al Green against whoever won, Texas 19, black people. So they literally are going to take out 4, target 4, and try to reduce the 4 to 2. Let me tell you why that's important. In Congress, seniority is important.
Yes, it is.
When you first go in, you're not going to have any seniority. You're not going to be on any committees. You ain't going to really have no power. It's sort of like you go to high school and you on the freshman team and everybody and the seniors on varsity.
Yeah,
it ain't no different, right? And even if you a star freshman, them seniors on varsity, they about to let you know like you're a little boy.
It's like Love It Basketball, how they used to punk Monica when she first goes to USC.
Right. Yeah. So that's just how it is, right? And so, but all the seniority, CBC has the most seniority, the Congressional Black Caucus. So that's why they're targeting Cleaver.
Okay.
That's why they were targeting CD18. That's why they targeting Al Green. But that's why they also targeting Jasmine, because she's blowing up and she's causing them problems. Yes. Right. And they're doing it around the country. They are literally trying to cut the CBC membership in half, because if you're not the majority party, which we're not right now, then your seniority will make you a ranking member of the committee. So when you have seniority, you get to be on the committees you want, so you can still cause them problems. Yes. So they're trying to get rid of ranking members. And none of my opponents have talked about this because, well, let me just say I understand these things. Let me just say that. Let me stick with me. Stick with you. Or there's a targeting of Black people around the country in Republican states in order to diminish the seniority of the Congressional Black Caucus. Okay. And so that's why I just told the truth at that press conference. And because it was truthful, I believe, and because Black people, I mean, it's funny when you're not Black. It's funny when people who don't walk in our shoes or live in our skin, they don't think anything is racist. right? And they think it's in our mind. They're like, you're pulling a race car. And I'll be like, I'm gonna pull that sucker all day, every day. If it's a French cut, I'm gonna pull it then too. And I'm gonna stop pulling it when you stop being racist. So if you want me to stop pulling a race car, then stop being a racist. And for the most part, that's what I said at the press conference. But if you're not Black, if you're not brown, you don't understand that because you think
they haven't experienced it.
Right, they haven't experienced it. So it is important that we get out and that we vote. It is important that we elect people who have understanding of how that institution works. Because I don't care how much of a stellar freshman you are, you're going to find out that if you don't learn how to work well with others,
yes,
and you don't work well with the seniority, you're not going to be the ranking member. Because you don't have the talent to do it, but again, it's like a freshman getting on varsity. They're not going to let you disrupt. The system is designed to protect itself. And so I'm a team player. I was an All-American in basketball in 1983 and in 1984. I was the Houston Post and Houston Chronicle, which are our two newspapers, which we only have one left. I was a player of the year, right? I played in the Texas High School All-Star game with Teresa Witherspoon. Y'all heard of her. She played for the New York Liberty.
Yeah.
So my point is, I know how to be a team because your basketball team is as strong as the weakest player on. I also ran cross country. I got 8th state in cross country. And in cross country, it's exceptionally important to be strong because they literally take the places of the first 5 people that cross the finish line, and the team with the lowest score wins, right? So you add it up because that means, first is 1, second is 2. So I ran cross country, and I didn't like running long distances, and cross country was 2 miles, but we were so poor. The cross country girls had these really cool Adidas shoes. I can still see them to this day.
Like, I want them shoes.
And my mother couldn't afford them. And the track coach was like, well, Joe, if you want these shoes, you just got to cross country. So guess who ran cross country? I did, for some shoes. So I'm hungry. I mean, I grew up sometimes on free and reduced lunch. We got evicted like 12 times in high school from 9th grade to 12th grade. So we had food, we had housing insecurity, which is why affordable housing is important to me, right? So there are all these things.
These interests, these issues are personal to you.
They're absolutely personal. I got my vaccines because at the free clinic by Ben Todd. Mm-hmm. So I'm healthy. I ain't get like polio or nothing like that because I got some nice vaccines that made sure I ain't die, from stuff.
So you grew up in Third Ward.
Third Ward, corner Scott and McGowan. I'm not from the bougie part of Third Ward. I'm from the bottom part of Third Ward.
Come on, bottom. How did you get to Elsick? What happened? What was that transition like?
So I'm from Third Ward. My mother went to Texas Southern. It took her 8 years to get through Texas Southern. In fact, I served my first 6 years of life at TSU because my mother did work study. And her work study was working in the library in the basement.
So you went to work with her?
And the people at the library babysat me.
Okay.
When my mother was going to class.
I was that professor at TSU holding somebody baby on my hip.
That was me. That was me.
If you want to get it, we're going to help you get it.
Yeah, we're going to help you get it. That's why I really sort of wish I went to an HBCU, but that's another conversation for another day. But my mother heard that A-Leaf in the 70s had the best school district in the state.
Okay.
And so it was like 3 apartment complexes out there. My mother found one. She put in it for transfer to get transferred to a post office. My mother was a letter carrier. She was a union steward. I'm a dues paying member of the Texas State Employees Union because I believe that unions are strong as its dues paying members, which is why anytime bills come up that say that they're going to take out the automatic draw into your paycheck, basically to stop the funding of unions, I vote against it, right? Because some people will just let it come out. So we moved into some apartments. So the funny thing is I literally didn't know I was poor till I got to Elsa.
Oh, wow.
Because in Third Ward, we was all had Crisco on the stove, bar and sugar.
Home was rich in love and pouring in. So.
But the truth is we was getting evicted. We didn't have lights, we didn't have water. We had to borrow butter, we had to borrow eggs.
But look at me now.
And I'm not complaining.
No.
But what I'm saying is when I moved to A-Leaf, which was a really middle-class neighborhood where all my classmates, for the most part, had cars.
Yeah.
I had classmates that had pools. I literally thought pools were in apartments. Right. I had classmates who had what do you call those things you jump on?
Jumping board.
You know what I'm talking about?
The trampoline.
A trampoline? Are you serious? We went to Candyland to go to a trampoline or to do fun stuff like that. We went to Astro World. People don't have that in their houses. Half the time, my mom ain't have no car. We was walking, catching the metro. People be like, "Hey, lady, you want to get in the car?" We walking to TSU. My mother's like, "No, thank you." And I'm like, "Take the ride, take the ride." And my mother would never take the ride. So I guess we didn't get kidnapped or nothing. So my point is, being in Congress is personal to me because I didn't grow up like you see me now. And I have friends who continually tell me, because I think like a poor person, because I grew up poor.
Do you think like a poor person, or are you empathize and you understand, and so you aim to help?
Well, yes, but I got to tell you, I always remember what it's like to be homeless. I always remember what it's like to get evicted. I always remember what it's like to come home from school and the front door is off a rent house your mama living in because they evicting y'all and your stuff is out in the front yard and your mama got to figure out. Your mother has to figure out where we gonna stay. Or our house burns down because we don't have electricity. We're using candles and we lose almost everything. But this is a lesson in resiliency. Our house burned down. I'm outside at 16 years old in t-shirt and panties. That's all I got on. My mother, somebody smelled the smoke. We didn't have no smoke alarm. We were, by the grace of God, we were all able to get out of the house. House burns up. All my trophies, they melted. And the next day, my mother, like that night, my mother called my best friend. She dropped me off over there. She called my sister's best friend. She dropped her off over there. My siblings, she dropped them off. And I went to school the next day. And I went to school in my best friend Wendy Pena's clothes. And I was like 5 inches taller than her, but we were both skinny. And that day at school, at Elsick High School, I was in the 10th grade. Everybody kept saying, "You smell smoke? You smell smoke?" I smell like smoke, right? And I didn't tell anybody that our house burned down because we didn't have electricity. I told people we had an electrical short. For me, that was more honorable, and I didn't want anybody to know that we were poor and that we couldn't afford electricity. Because at Elsick, people's lights didn't get turned off. My friends had refrigerators full of food. So if I went to go to their house, which somebody would have to come get me, we didn't have no car. I remember they had chocolate ice cream. They had like stuff my mother would, we ate liver and onions and rice. To this day, I don't eat liver and onions because liver and onions and rice were the cheapest. And so my mother was like, "Oh, y'all gonna eat
this liver,
and y'all, because you gonna have food." And so we would eat liver and onions all the time.
My mama after this and ask her, "Is that why we ate
liver?" And my mother, and because it's supposed to be healthy for you, and my mother gave us cod liver oil. She couldn't afford vitamins. To this day, I don't eat cod liver oil. I don't eat liver and onions. And we used to get free breakfast at CUNY homes, and it used to be graham crackers and orange juice. To this day, I don't eat graham crackers and orange juice because it reminds me of when I was poor or when my family was poor. But the thing is, I think that I applied for welfare in 1994 in law school.
Wow.
I applied for welfare. I was in an abusive relationship. I'm very lucky to be alive. And I have post-traumatic stress from being raped by my ex-husband, beat by my ex-husband, cheated on, just all kind of stuff. And I was trying to get out of law school, and I applied for welfare. And do you know them people? And I was embarrassed, all right, to go to the welfare office because I had a college degree. I'm in law school.
But life is life.
And I go to the welfare office. I had this raggedy Ford Taurus. It used to break down every week. Every time I got a little money, I had to fix it. Some was always broke. So I would never drive a Ford Taurus either. Do they even exist still? But I go to the welfare office and they literally tell me I don't qualify for welfare after I done got up the courage to go ask for help around people who probably don't have college degrees and who are probably not in law school. And then people told me I did not qualify for welfare. They told me that if I got rid of my Taurus, that I would qualify. I was like, but how am I going to get to school? If I get a job, how am I going to get to a job? So you want me to get rid of my car? So then I went, and so I just want to tell you, I then went to my friend Tamsin Valois, she was my law school classmate and study partner. And she said, you and Gio can come stay with me.
Mm.
So it is a miracle that I got through law school because I was going through it. Again, you get through that. Does anybody who went to law school know how hard law school is?
Oh, you had to tell me. I curved out the first time, but I went back.
But my point is this. What is running a congressional race? How does that compare to the stuff I've been through?
Yeah.
So even when I wasn't in first place, I knew I could get to first place because I knew I could get through stuff, right? So not only was my mother a union steward and my grandfather was in unions, I'm a dues paying union member. So I don't have to be like, this happened to somebody in my family. My brother was murdered. My brother was shot 5 times, twice in the head.
Oh,
my Aunt Donna Kay was murdered. She was shot twice in the head, literally on Palm and Delano, which is like less than 5 minutes from where I live. Every time I go to TSU, I pass where my aunt was murdered. So the stuff that constituents of CD18 go through, been there, done that. So people see me and I like, let's be clear, I like to dress. Right?
And does.
I like to dress.
And you do it well.
Thank you. But I mean, it's a good thing I don't look like what I've been through.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah, and you don't smell like smoke.
I don't smell like smoke anymore.
Refined, biblically, the silversmith.
No, but it built character. It did.
It built you.
It made me tough.
Yeah.
Probably tougher than most.
Yeah. I mean, you've survived so much. And you've taken that survival, like the show Survivor, but you've made it into purpose. You've put it into your work, into your body of work, your life's work.
Sure.
And I just think that's so admirable. All right, now I got to give you the tough question.
Yes, ma'am. What is it?
And I've been asking everybody. So
that's fine. Let's go.
Okay. Runoff.
What about it?
It'll be in January if there's a runoff, and there's going to be a runoff.
There's going to be a runoff.
Even though I'm praying against it in the name of Jesus.
Well, I'm hoping that the Supreme strike down these racist maps. If they strike down the racist maps, there won't be that 18 against 9.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead. Was that the question?
Yeah. So what happens if Al Green is in this race and you are the Congress member for the 18th Congressional District for the remainder of the 119th Congress? Will you challenge him for that seat for the 120th Congress next
So
March?
My question, why would I give up being an incumbent? I literally, when Congresswoman Jackson Lee died, people wanted me to run. People negotiated me out of the race, right? Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, because
he'll have to see you.
Unfortunately, Democrats came back and gave them a quorum and they were able to pass those racist maps. If those maps don't if Democrats don't come back and they can't conduct business because they don't have a quorum, then there is no pitting of Al Green against anybody, right? So let me be clear. I didn't come back. Crystal, I didn't come back because I understood the assignment.
Yeah.
And let me be clear, when I was running from the FBI and the police, right? Which we know in the history of this country, first there were overseers when we slaves and we escaped, when we're enslaved and we escaped. After slavery was abolished, more than 2 years in Texas. Don't even get me started talking about that. Then they created police.
Yeah.
To catch us, right? So when we were gone, and I literally was hiding from the freaking FBI, I remember thinking, this must be what it's like. This must be what it was like
in the 1860s.
No, this must be what it was like during the Montgomery bus boycott.
Oh,
this must be what it was like to march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge.
Yeah,
and I knew when I was like, man, if I would have been alive, I'd have been on that bridge. Man, if I've been, I don't care about dogs getting sick on me, police beat me. I know I would have been there. I would have been, if I would have been alive during the Montgomery bus boycott, I would have been boycotted for them 82 days or whatever, right? So I was prepared to stay out, to stay gone.
Because you understood.
Because I understood the assignment.
Yeah.
Right, I understood it.
The gravity of the whole thing.
And let me be clear, think about if the people in the Montgomery bus boycott, it wasn't a day strike. It wasn't a week strike. Mm-hmm. It was over a year.
Yeah.
Okay, it was over a year because you got to hit white folks in the pocketbook. That's the only time they pay attention. You understand that? People lost jobs. People had to walk to work. People's lives were inconvenienced.
Mm-hmm.
The people who boycotted,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they understood lynching. They understood lack of civil rights. So they understood that their lives were constantly uncomfortable.
Yes.
But we are too far removed from segregation and Jim Crow. We way too comfortable. Do you realize that we didn't even stay gone till Monday? Had we stayed gone till Monday, it'd have been 2 whole weeks. Imagine if the Montgomery bus boycott people say, baby, look, I'm tired of walking, right? Let's just get back on this bus.
Let's just get back on
Let's
this
just
bus.
get back on this bus.
But somebody came, beep,
I was like, nah,
come
hell.
jump in this car with us.
I was like, hell to the no. Can't do that. And so for me, even though it was tough and my law practice suffered, it did.
Yeah.
I understood the assignment, and it was my opportunity to figure out what I'm made of,
Yeah.
and who my grandmother and my mother raised me to be. But also, if I was willing to be a part of modern day civil rights. So us winning and killing the maps during the first special session, that was a victory. But winning the messaging war, no, that wasn't important for me. I wanted those maps killed. And had we stayed gone, you wouldn't be asking me what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I wouldn't be.
You wouldn't be asking me that.
I would not have asked.
Exactly. I didn't want for there to be a clash. I understood the assignment, and I wasn't coming back.
And you also understood the sacrifice, as you talked about the fact that you are a caretaker. You're a caretaker of your mother. You know, those were things that my friends and I were talking about. You know, some people, they're going to be without their children, their spouses, they may be caretakers, whatever the case may be. Some people might have medical issues that they actually need to be going to their physician, but they can't go because they got to be gone. So the sacrifice and
but it took a village. I was raised in African culture, right? And so when the people with the bus boycott were losing their jobs, the community came together, right? Because that's an African principle.
Yeah,
that we're a community of interdependence.
And so your family came together.
Yeah, I told my son, go get your grandmother.
Yeah,
she at my house.
Yeah,
I had to leave. Yeah, sorry I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
and I told my sister, Mama at the house. Y'all need to go get her.
Yeah,
right. And they were like, okay, how long has she been there? I got to give them all the logistics afterwards. So we were gonna figure it out. Yeah, right. Because too many times in my life, we were placed in situations where we had to figure it out.
Just had to figure some stuff out. Yeah. So as we get ready to wrap, tell us, well, not tell me, but share what it is that the voters need to know mostly about Jolanda Jones, and any last thoughts.
I think you can ask me about my superpower. I actually believe my superpower is empathy.
Empathy. Okay.
It's empathy. Because if you can't feel, I have
another question for you.
If you can't feel what other people are feeling, how can you fight for them? One, I'm a fighter. My mother beat me, I got beat. Turns out
you had to go outside and get your own switch.
And if it wasn't big enough, but I also got beat with extension cords.
I wonder if my mama on here listening, because she act like she don't remember that.
With extension cords or brooms, whatever was at arm's length was used. And so I would get beat if I made a 97A instead of a 100A. Oh, my mother told me, you are not a 97A student. You are a 100A.
Now that's different.
So when you get beat for making 97As, you make a bunch of 100As.
Now that's different.
So I was actually I was voted by the faculty at the University of Houston as the most outstanding senior.
Oh, wow.
And I had full academic rights to all the Ivy Leagues and Stanford.
Oh, wow.
In fact, I had a full academic right to Stanford Law School. Ask me why I didn't go.
Why didn't you go?
I was doing stuff I ain't had no business doing, and I got pregnant with my child. And so
you wanted to stay community.
I had to, my law school tuition wasn't going to cover a whole baby.
Mm-hmm, no.
So I went to the University of Houston.
That's what I'm saying. You had to be where community was.
Where my grandmother and my law school classmates, and my son was 5 months when I started law school.
Oh, wow.
So I brought him to law school with me. I used to be breastfeeding the class. I would whip it out. And I got kicked out of every study group I had, except for the one I had my third year, because they were like, Gio's, he's cute and everything, but he makes too much noise. So I began school, and to this day, everybody is like, how's Gio?
How's Gio?
Right. And so he's a lawyer now. We practice together.
Yeah. So this is the question I wrote last night.
Is this special just for me?
Yeah, it's special for you. Not last, what's today, the 17th. So I wrote this Monday evening. What's one thing you wish people better understood about you? I think you shared it already.
That I'm as empathetic as I am. Pero, y también yo hablo español, aprendí en las escuelas. So puedo comunicar con la gente en Texas 18. Porque hay una mayoría de la gente que son negros y latinos. Y sus lenguas primeras son español.
All right, now translate.
So you know what? So I'm not going to translate. You want to know why?
Okay.
Because I believe that people need to have an understanding of what it feels like to be in a whole country and you don't understand anything anybody is saying.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I love that. That's beautiful.
So, por la gente que habla español, por favor, tiene orgullo y nunca olvida su lengua y su cultura. So I'm not telling you, again, that is what it's like for people who don't speak English.
Yeah, yeah.
That's their whole world.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Now y'all try to go figure out what I just said.
Okay.
But I will tell you that I did study Spanish. Well, that's not true. I took Spanish in HISD, good public school education.
Okay.
So I'm a product of good public school education. In 7th grade, because they figured out I was magnet. So I was Vanguard. So they bused me to the best schools. We had to pick a foreign language. I figured I'd go to Mexico before I went to France. I took Spanish in 7th grade. I took Spanish in every grade after 7th grade, except for 11th grade. I don't remember why I didn't take it. And I took Spanish like 2 years in college.
Oh, wow. So
I've been fluent since 1982.
Oh, wow. I love that.
And I'm from 3rd Ward, Houston, Texas.
I mean, listen, it works and you need it. It helps you with even communicating with your constituents right now.
Eso es la verdad.
Yeah. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Representative Jolanda Jones, candidate for Congressional District 18. Thank you so much. I know we started off rocky. She was about to put me out, and I live here.
She didn't answer her phone, and we were stuck in the garage. She didn't answer her phone.
But listen,
and we was in a garage, not knowing how to get into this fortress.
But I got you.
It's very nice though.
I got you.
I'm glad I stayed.
Thank you. Give me a hug. All right. This has been rich. I really do appreciate you though. And we'll be doing a second round, but it will only be 3.
Okay.
All right. And
that's fine.
I will make sure that I have my phone, not just off do not disturb. I'll make sure you're in my favorites so your calls always come through.
Look, you saw I texted you. Hey, I'm sitting in the parking garage. You ain't gonna let me in?
Oh my gosh, we leaving. Thank y'all so much. Remember to share this and to register to vote. The last day to register to vote is October 6th. National Voter Registration Day was yesterday. Today is Constitution Day. Make sure you get registered to vote. If you need help, just reach out to me and I'll get you taken care of.
And vote for me, Jolanda Jones.
Good night.